Degrees of separation, connecting you to the source.
What it is, what it do, man. We back off in this thing one more time, man. It's your host, Elder Joshua Peacock.
And go DJ Sales back in it again, man.
Yes, sir, Ski, man. Hey, we got a lot of great things going, man. We're making great connections, man, for the podcast and for the kingdom, man. We've God just been opening up doors for us, bro. How you
Man,
been feeling, man?
I ain't gonna lie, I've been stoked, just simply just because, I understand that with the opportunities, it does come work, but it also comes, just like better chances, like you said, better opportunities to have our reach expand, man. And that's good, it's good when it's for a good cause,
Most definitely. And our last episode we talked about growth, and just in the in between from that day to a week later, man, there's been
Growth.
growth and potential growth that has come to our doorsteps, man. And speaking of growth, we have a man who is all about growth with family, all about growth with motivation. We'll talk about a little bit of it all. He's doing big things in big ways, and he's not new to doing it. He's been doing it his whole life. A man that's been a go-getter. I've been knowing him for a long, long time, man. None other than Mr. Wildwood Yuka by himself, Nicholas Josey. Yes,
How,
sir.
how y'all fellas doing tonight, man?
Man, doing pretty good.
Yeah.
It's an honor and a blessing for
All
y'all
the
to bring
glory.
me on here. I give all the glory and praise to Lord Jesus Christ. He's the Lord and Lords of King and Kings.
Yes, sir. Nick, man.
Amen.
Degrees of separation. We all talk, it's about get connected, staying connected. We've been connected for a mighty long time, bro. Do you have any stories or anything you want to share? I mean, this we used to work together,
Yeah.
been friends, got mutual friends, played poker together. What's the story, man, out of the many that you got?
The crazy story is I really don't remember how I met you. It's just no, I mean, I know my wife, y'all went to school with you and your brother, y'all from Denellen, so y'all went to school with my wife.
Yeah,
And then I really once I started when I linked up with Bryant Reeves, I just really and Roscoe and everybody else, Wade, and just started hanging out getting to know a lot of people from Denellen. But I was just sitting here thinking when you was asking about a story, I was like, dang, I don't remember how I met you, bro. But it's
yeah,
been it's been an honor knowing you though, to tell you the truth.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I tell you the truth, I can't. I thought it was. I think it is through Bryant and everybody like that. But man, we've been knowing each other, man, close to 20 years, bro.
yeah,
Close to 20 years, if not more. Or
yeah,
yeah, close to 20. Cause I've been out of school 20, and even before Cheney Brothers, we've been
yeah.
knowing each other.
Yeah, because June 18th will be 20 years I've been with my wife.
God,
Yeah.
jeez, man,
Ooh.
jeez, yeah. So I mean, I remember. Do you remember when Bryant had his booth, his rap booth in his closet in the house?
Yeah, at his parents' house
Yeah, we
in the
all used to go
trailer.
over there and rap and everything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, man, we've been rocking for a long time. Even when I had my first apartment, you stayed
Yeah.
right around the corner, and I didn't even know it. And I was working at the concrete place, and I used to.
Yeah.
I had a car. Right, first I used to walk to work, and I ride my bike, and I used to go cut by his house where he stayed at, and then I had a car, an '88 Grand Marquis, and it didn't have no tags on it. So it was a little stretch of highway to get to my job. So I cut
Riding dirty.
right, yeah, right there to cut by his house, jump on the highway real quick, punch it, get off the highway, go to my job, and then do the same thing on the way back, man. But yeah, that was my very first apartment, bro, right around the corner from me, man.
Yeah, you and Eric Smith.
Yeah, me and Fat Man.
Um,
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. That was Mom Duke's house.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's been since '04, '05.
yeah.
Yep, I started at '05 and then went to Cheney in '06. Yep. So it's been like 20 years, man. At least over 20 years of us knowing each other, man. But yeah, man, that's our connection, man. That's our degree of separation. Um, you are a motivational speaker. You're a realtor.
Hmm.
Uh, which one do you want to touch on first?
Well, me personally, the where I'm going now, it goes hand in hand. So, now I mean, obviously, when growing up, you don't think that you can own a house. You don't, I mean, they don't allow you to think outside of the scope. And this is just my personal belief, so I'm not trying to rub nobody the wrong way. But it's like when you go to school, they teach you to go to school. Okay, get an education. Once you get out of school, they teach you to go to college, which you getting in debt. They teach you to find your wife, to get married, so you getting in more debt, to buy your dream home, and then you giving them more debt. So before you know it, you're $600,000 to $700,000 in debt. Okay, and you're never gonna get out of that. Now because you got student loans and so forth, house payment, and then I mean to have a decent marriage, you $20,000 to $30,000. So it's like nothing against the government, but then the government, it's like the government brainwashes you in order to keep that thumb on you. You see what I'm saying? To keep you in debt. So now you helping the next man make the money. They don't teach you nothing about entrepreneurship, owning your own business, making your own life, making your own money, and investing, and how to credit, how to write a check, or nothing. They don't teach you none of that.
Right, right. Yeah. You talk as facts, man. Because I remember in middle school, this is in the late '90s. Home economics. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Fact.
That taught you how to take care of yourself,
Fact.
how to cook, how to, do certain things, man. And now they don't offer any of those things. And like you said, in school, you're not taught how to. You're taught to be another worker and not to
Yeah.
how to survive. And so when you got into, how long you been in real estate?
I want to say about 4.5 years, because October will be 5 years. But to kind of touch on that, and this is kind of like motivation. Like me personally, I don't give up. So to kind of tell people about I could talk about myself and talk about my testimony for days, but just you know what I mean, it's a lot of people. I'm a convicted felon, so a lot of people try to use that as an excuse. Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, come up because I'm a convicted felon. I use that for motivation. I got it tatted on my chest. My failures are my motivation. So a lot of people, was it harder for me to get my real estate license? Yes, but then at the same time, like I said, I don't give up, and a lot of people don't know it took me 6 7 times before I passed the test. Like I said, I don't give up, and then once I got my real estate license, that was only half the battle, because it took me 11 months to sell my first house. But then if people look at my resume of houses and everything as far as real estate, they don't realize that even though I've been in real estate 3.5, 4.5 years, I've really only been selling 3.5 years. And then last year was I still worked the 9 to 5 half the year, and then I still did real estate, but I stopped working 9 to 5 in June, but I made 4 times the amount of money I did last year in real estate than I would at my 9 to 5, and I was the number one sales agent at my brokerage. But I don't brag about all that. That's just not me facts. I give
Yeah,
all
straight
that
up.
glory to the Lord. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I know your work ethic, man, because I worked with you for I don't know how many years, a number of years, and you was a go getter, man. You was
Yeah.
you was one of the top dogs in the warehouse, man. And so I know your work ethic is there, man. And like I said, you've been at it for a long time. Always, ain't nothing wrong with liking nice things. A man who has a good taste in things, good taste in cars, good taste in clothes, good taste in houses, and ain't nothing wrong with that. And to obtain and to have the finer things in life, you go about it the honest way by having a motivation, having a drive. And where does that drive come from?
My mom. I give, no, I mean, it's been July 31st to be 7 years that my mom got called to heaven. But and she always told me never be like her, check the paycheck. And nobody is going to grind harder, or hustle harder than somebody that grew up seeing their mom struggle. I mean, I remember growing up, we grew up on food stamps, welfare. I remember being so poor, and at one point in time, not to say my mom was dirty, our house was dirty, but we never had it until one of her friends moved in. Then when the friend moved out, we had roaches. I remember being so poor, man, and this is on God, picking roaches out the cereal just to have something to eat because it's, know what I mean, I ain't finna let y'all eat all my food.
Right. Yeah, yeah, straight up,
But
straight
it
up.
the know what I mean, the struggle was real, man. So
Yeah. And with those, with that, with the challenges of getting your real estate license, like break down some of those challenges and how it shaped out and how you overcame those things.
all right, so I remember my the first agency I worked for, Ocala Realty, where the broker there, Alicia, she told me, I told her like, hey, I'm a convicted felon, but I know I can get my license because my buddy was a convicted felon and he got his license. He's like, and I kind of live like by certain quotes and everything about Wayne Gretzky. He's like, you miss every shot you don't take. So she was like, well, why don't you go ahead and apply with the state to see if the state would give you a license and we can go from there? Because I don't want you to spend your money on my class and then you can't get your license. So I applied through the state. I did the background check and it's like, I think it took like 3 or 4 months. I checked it every day, every day, every day, every day. And then it just said in processing, in processing. And then that thing said approved. I said, thank you, Jesus. I went ahead and went down. And I went down that same day and paid for the course and everything. And then my wife was like, "Dang, you just took." I think it was like $300 or $400 at the time. It's like you just took $300 or $400 out of the account. I was like, "Yeah." I said, I went to pay. I paid for my class." She was like, "You got to run past that stuff past me." I said, "My bad. It's too late now."
Yeah,
But
that excitement got you. You know,
yeah,
that's all you needed. Okay, I got the go ahead. I know I can get what I can get. Let me go ahead and pay this money. Well, I got it. I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. Um, DJ, you got anything? Jump in there, man. If you got anything for him, man.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. No, I was just gonna say that's mad impressive, bro. Because like just like a little bit of my personal life, man. My wife, she was trying to, or she's actually pursuing a state. Uh, uh, and I'm assuming you had to go through the state to get that licensing, right? As far as real estate goes,
yeah. So
Nicholas.
yeah. So basically, you got to take the class test. You got to take a class. I think it's 73 hours, or 60. It's 63 hour
Yeah.
test. And now what? And with class, and once you do that, you take a class test. You pass that, then you got to take the state exam. And then once you take the state exam, you're pretty much a free agent because you can go sign with anybody you want to. But it is some brokerages out there, and some brokers they won't help you. At the end of the day, they just gonna charge you to death as far as fee this, fee that every month. But it is some brokers out there that really care about you, and they'll give you the tools that you need to succeed.
Yeah, see, and my wife, she was trying to do insurance adjusting, when she had to wait, it was a little waiting period because of something on her record like from years ago,
Hmm.
but the state, man, they tend to be like real particular things like that, man. But um man, that's definitely something that the most high, was able to pull strings for, man. And that's real dope.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I know, like to kind of feed off what you were saying, like I got arrested in 2004 for the charge that got me sent to prison. And what's crazy is the saying that you hang around dogs, you catch fleas. I know Peacock
Yeah.
knows my story. It was a childhood friend of mine. We hung out with, and Lord knows I could tell you stories for days of things that we did together. But one night we got pulled over. It was pills in the car. I didn't know about them, and he didn't admit to it. I was driving. It was his car. Police asked me, "Why are you driving?" I said, "Because I'm driving because his license suspended to it. I mean, his license was suspended." So they basically told him in front of me, well, if you go ahead and admit to the drugs, telling my buddy at the time that they were gonna let me go. He looked at me, looked at the cops, and said they weren't mine. So we both ended up getting sent to jail. I bonded out. I was out on bond for 23 months, and then took it to trial, lost in trial, did a couple years in prison, and came home. I had to do 5 years probation, but I thank God for that, because if that would have happened to me at such a young age, I don't know where I would be at. I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm a saint. I used to rip and run, do a lot of things I shouldn't do, sold drugs. I mean, a lot of things. You name it, I probably did it. But I just thank God for everything. And another thing, a lot of people ask me, why did I get into real estate, or how did I get into real estate? And I give that to my wife, because when she was about to graduate with her master's degree, and I thought to myself, I said, could I picture myself at the 9 to 5 where I was at for the rest of my life? And the answer was no. So I thought about what I love doing, and I love shoes, cars, clothes, and houses. I remember looking at houses, and I love just looking at houses. So I was like, why not get paid to do something I love and help people make their dreams come true? So that's why I got into real estate. And that's why, like, now sometimes people, I may show 'em one house, they get it. I've had people where I show them 10 to 20 houses, and they, we apologize. We got you ripping and running, going here. I said, no, it's a pleasure. I love, like, legitimately, when y'all looking at the house, I'm looking at the house too. I'm in awe
Yeah,
and amazed, just like y'all.
yeah. So you mentioned Vera, your wife, man. What does she speak to that? How she stood by you through all the things that you've had to deal with, all the things that you had to go through. What strength does she bring to you?
Honestly, it was crazy. She taught me, helped me become the man I am today, and I mean, she's my backbone. I wouldn't be at where I'm at in life now if it wasn't for her. I know, like, one of the biggest things I learned from her is not what you say, it's how you say it. And it took me years to learn. Know what I mean, I'm a person that speaks my mind, but it's all right to speak your mind. And some people, like, I'm not gonna change, but it's like you have to realize who you're talking to. Now, I mean, some people you can kind of come at any type of way, and they'll still receive it. But then you have some people you have to really talk to them, and maybe, I guess you can say, take their emotions into consideration. So that's one thing. One of the biggest things I give to her, that I learned to her. And what's crazy, some of my biggest clients in real estate I met because of her. Know what I mean? And so I just, man, listen. In the beginning, I put my wife through hell. She stuck through me. I mean, stuck by me. And know what I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be at where I'm at today, and that's why anything she asked for, I give it to her. She's know what I mean, she's my everything. I can't speak highly enough of her.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand what you mean because I feel the same way about mine, man. About how you feel about yours, man. I get that woman the world, man. I run through a brick wall for her, man. Anything she wants, she asks for it. I told her, I said, man, have you ever told us? Have you ever noticed that I never tell you no? That's what
I'm
I tell her. I
telling
said, I ain't never told you no, woman. All you gotta do is tell me you want it. I'm gonna find a way to get it for you.
you. Yes, sir.
And so with her behind you, her motivating you, her giving you ideas, her bringing you clients, with the love of the things that you're doing. Um, first off, I do want to say, man, I appreciate you for the support, man. Anytime one of them peacock blankets show up, man, you one of the first one to like it, man. And I think it's that way because we both was in the grind together at Chain,
Hmm.
man. And you got out of the industry a little bit faster than I did. I did 17 years selecting, man, but you still understand the grind, and therefore, for a man to leave that lifestyle when we was making real good money, but
Yeah.
leave that slave labor and to and to get into sales or to get into a blue collar, if I'm losing that, it's no white collar industry, right? Right, DJ, white collar industry like sales.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it could be. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so to get into that sales, different lives, different. We're in the same lane now. I just want to say I appreciate you for this, all the support, the likes, and everything. But speak to that transition from that manual hard labor to to sales and motivation speaking.
So like as far as I would say it's probably been about 2 3 years since I really been thinking about wanting to do the motivational speaking. But so I talk about the whole transition from slave labor, like you say, into sales. So like when I left Cheney Brothers, actually I didn't leave Chaney Brothers. They let me go, but at that right there in itself was a blessing in disguise because like I was making like $80,000 back in 2007, 2008, good money.
Yes,
But
sir.
then I wasn't happy. Like I was I was a very mean individual. I feel like looking back at it, I was nasty to a lot of people that loved me. um, and then up until I want to say probably about 3 years ago, I really thought about it, and I've never really talked to you know what I mean, people that really know me. You know what I mean, I talked to them about it, but all these years, me and my wife have been together. I always still felt like I had something inside of me, like I needed to get out. So I really thought about it, and I give part of this glory to, well, obviously God, but to Kevin Gates. Listen to Kevin Gates talking about how he was molested as a child, and so was I. So being able to talk about that and just overcome that and releasing that demon out of me. Now, I mean, I know nothing can stop me now. Um, but like so even like when I left Cheney Brothers, I worked at Carton Glass for a while, 9 to 5. But as far as getting into like working for somebody else and getting into sales, I did I did a 9 to 5 job in real estate for 3.5 years. So then that's the thing. The whole time I had been in real estate, I didn't spend none of my money. I was just stacking my money and investing it. That way, once I did do real estate, 100%, I wasn't stressing about how I'm gonna pay my bills. But even now, like the last job I had, they let me go unexpectedly. But what's crazy is when I woke up that morning in my spirit, it was like I wasn't gonna be here that much longer. That's what God told me. I was like, what? I was like, okay, like I don't see why, because I was on salary, but then they were paying me good. So I was like, I'm not finna, know what I mean, give this up.
Yeah, yeah.
But they called me in the office and told me I don't align with the company's culture, and I was like, "What does that mean?" And then the same guy that hired me, I want to say like the VP, he really couldn't give me an answer. So after I asked him about 3 times, he couldn't give me an answer. I just stood up, gave him the keys, shook his hand. I said, "Thank you for the opportunity. Y'all have a blessed day." And what's crazy that at the same time, my wife had got in a car accident. She was out on short term disability, so she's stressing about like bills and stuff like that. She was like, "What are you gonna do?" I said, I'm just gonna do real estate because I'm out here preaching to everybody about comfort zone is your kill zone. But at the same time, I still got a 9 to 5. And I know as long as I had that 9 to 5, I'd never be as great as I can be in real
Okay.
estate because I got that cushion. I know I got that 2,500 to 3 bands coming every 2 weeks from my little 9 to 5. So and then like it was crazy. That was I think that was on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, I got a house under contract for an NFL player. The next day, that Thursday, I drove down to Orlando. Some clients I helped before I put that house on the market, and then took them over to DL Horton and got their new house under contract. And ever since then, I hadn't looked back. Um, and then to motivational speaking, I remember I heard I forgot what song it was, but I heard E.T. Eric Thomas, and he
Yes,
was
sir.
talking about when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I just remember like hearing that. I didn't know who he
Mhm.
was. And then shout out to Michelangelo Vasquez. He had sent me a YouTube video. Actually, it was Inky Johnson. and he was talking about Inky Johnson telling his whole testimony. I was like, dang, that's powerful. I was like, that's crazy. So then after that, a ET video came on. And it's like since then, man, it's like I've been ready to run through a brick wall, you know what I mean, for ET and Eakin Johnson, Jeremy Anderson. I listen to a lot of different people, but one thing about me, as much as I try to motivate people and help them, it helps me as well, because one thing, and like even us as men, the world teaches you, like us as men, we can't really talk about it, deal how to deal with it, is depression. Now, I mean, even as successful as I am, sometimes, now I mean, you get depressed. So I just pray about it, but then at the same time, that's why I got to stay positive and be keep my head up and look forward, and I know it's gonna be brighter at the end of the day. And even if I talk to a million people and I only help one person, that one person can be the person that changed the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you dropping some heavy names of people who really speak that, who are really talk that talk,
Yeah,
man,
Nicholas
and
Johnson.
get you. Yeah, man. Et and all the boys, man. Like they'll have you like ready to go. And I've only been in sales for 3 months now, but what I found out real fast. It's not what you did on yesterday. Every single day you wake up, you got to re-motivate yourself to do it again, because yesterday does not count for anything in sales. You got to consistently do it. So on my way to work, before when I wake up, I'm prepping myself. I pray. That's why I run into the people that I run into, DJ, for the podcast, for the kingdom, for because I pray for these people to come into my path so that I can give God the glory. That's why I'm meeting people who have, you know, Christian camps, people that have podcast studios who are in the kingdom. I'm meeting all different types of people because I'm praying that I have the opportunity to give God the glory, but at the same time, I'm praying for my daily provision. And you have to motivate yourself, as you said, Nick, to do it afresh. Like when we were selecting, when we was at Cheney Brothers, when I was at Cisco, we knew the job. Yeah, you have to motivate yourself, but you knew the job. You just work. You just hit the floor running and don't stop until you clock out. But
Yeah.
with sales, you got to motivate yourself. You have to exude confidence without having arrogance.
You want to know? He had mentioned something too. He was like, going through like bouts or little patches of depression or whatever the case may be. Bro, one of the biggest tools against depression, and I believe that God is the only one who can offer this, is purpose.
Absolutely.
Purpose, man. Purpose. Oh, I'm appointed. I have been chosen to do this. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy though, because my last name is Sales, and I it's like I like, when I was in sales as a younger cat, I liked it. It was straight or whatever the case may be. But I kind of like slid into like, man, I like stability. I like to be able to say, man, look, I'm doing this. I already know what I'm doing. It can change within that umbrella of the job, but nonetheless, this is still my job. You feel me? But when it comes to like a huge like tool or battle, or a huge tool that you can utilize against depression, is like purpose. You feel me? Like whenever I go to the job, I know that I'm here for a purpose. It's a reason why I'm doing this. It's somebody that you guys are helping. I don't know, man. Like y'all, I don't know, y'all kind of moving me, man, when it comes to the sales jobs, man. I don't know. I may jump out there.
Sales is the it's people sales people in sales make the most money out of any industry in the world. It comes from sales.
Yeah. Hey, it
I
to well, I was gonna say to each his own, and that's the thing. A lot of people, like you tell them, like they see the glory, but they don't know the story. So,
Right.
and they think it's easy. So I kind of go back to our working days. I remember when I first left Cheney Brothers and went to Cardinal, And I was telling them boys how I'm not, how I was making all that money. It was like, what? Why'd you leave or whatever? I was like, I didn't. They let me go, but I knew that was for a purpose. Like then I didn't know why, and I thought my life would end. Like how could I pay my bills and do this and do that, without Cheney Brothers? But God seen it was gave me a different route. This is your purpose to go over here now. And I was even like when I first left Cheney Brothers and was working at Carton, I made a lot less money, but I was much more happy as a person in life.
Yes.
Um, but to what you're saying as far as sales, man, it's not cut out for everybody. You know what I mean? To what you were saying, Pastor, some people that 9 to 5, that's what they need. They need
Uh-huh.
that stability. I mean, being an
Mhm.
entrepreneur is not for everybody. But
Correct.
then at the same time, my personal opinion, I give a shout out to Earn Your Leisure with their podcast and teaching everybody about financial literacy, which they don't teach in the schools, which they need. I mean, because every day, now I mean, God wakes you up, you got a chance and a choice. So then, if that's the case, then the school systems need to do the same to give you a
They
chance
do.
and a choice. If you want to be a worker, or if you want to be a leader, or if you want to be somebody that's going to change the world. And a lot of times when you say certain things, people think you're crazy, but it's crazy people that change the world. And I tell anybody this, and part of my language, if your dreams don't scare the shit out of you, you ain't dreaming big enough.
Straight up. Straight up. Um, with all right, so you know what it took why it took me so long to buy a house or to even consider buying a house?
Oh, let's
It's been
not talk about that. Let's talk about buying a house. Hey,
no, no, I'm
and
gonna
this
I'm gonna
guy
get
say,
to
listen, this guy talking about he known me 20 years, him and his brother, and neither one of them sad suckers use me as a relative. I don't know. I don't know what Josh's excuse is gonna be, but DP put it on his wife. Oh, it was my wife. Man, you supposed to go up to bat for me, bro. What you talking about, DP?
hey.
You should have got DP on the podcast so I could talk with trash to him in Jesus'
I,
name.
now, I knew you was a realtor when I bought my house, but I cannot, for the life of me, I'm gonna ask my wife after we get off. I don't know how we met my realtor, but I can tell you, it was divine how I met my realtor because him, and the broker that he uses, the one that he usually goes with, they're both pastors.
Gotcha.
They're both was in the ministry, and so that's what kind of drew me to him. He hooked me up with this broker and all this other stuff, but I cannot remember how I met him. But he was a good realtor. He walked me through all the steps. He was driving away from Kissimmee to Ocala multiple times, driving all over Marion County to show me houses and everything. He was a dope guy. But I don't know how I met him. I did know that you was in realty when I did get started, but I think I got linked up with somebody through my pre-approval and just went along with how once you get hooked up with somebody, you just go along with whoever you are. I didn't know about. I was ignorant to a lot of things in the housing market. I didn't know that you had to get all I knew was
Inspection.
inspection and
Yeah.
appraisals and all that other stuff. All I knew about was down payment. But going back to my original statement, we're gonna get to, this is gonna lead us into buying houses. What took me so long to buy a house was you always have to pay property taxes even after you pay off the house. And I thought in
Hmm.
my youth, I was like, man, that don't make no sense. You never really own the house anyways. Why even pay that much money? And so I was against buying a house because you never own it. And then as I continued to educate myself, my family kept growing. The rent kept growing because I kept having to get bigger apartments because me and my wife have 5 children now, and only one of them been born since we've had the house, which has been 3 years now. Um, but I had to get a house. And so with having to get a house, explain your saying, your slogan, your copyrighted hashtag, Mr. Why Rent When You Can Buy.
Yeah, so why rent when you can buy? So basically, um, it speaks for itself. When you're renting, you're paying the next man's mortgage. I know a lot of people, like right now, the interest rates are not where we want them to be. But the thing is, you know what the interest rates are for renting is 100%,
Yes.
because you ain't got nothing to show for it. At least when you buy a home, if you're financially, if your credit's where it needs to be and you're financially stable, say for instance, if you're by yourself, you got a significant other, and you're able to purchase a home, I highly suggest to purchase a home, because I've mentioned this a couple times in like videos and stuff I've done. Like, you can refinance the interest rate, but you can't refinance the price of the house. And the thing is, the interest rates are, yeah, I want to say they're like about 6.5, 7%, depending on your credit score and the lender you go with. But as soon as the interest rates drop, there's going to be more buyers in the pool, which is going to drive the prices up. Just like a couple years ago when the interest rates were at 3 and 4%, everybody and their mom was trying to buy houses, and every house, I remember when I was showing houses, it was like 10 offers on every house. It was like a bidding war. I remember a listing I had. I listed it, and it sold for $40,000 over asking price. I was like, that's it. It was bananas. So to what you were saying, if you could buy a house, buy a house. Because like I said, you can refinance the interest rate. You can't refinance the price of the house. So once these interest rates go down, which the Feds predict that they should drop the interest rates a couple couple times this year, for every 1% that the interest rate drops, it puts at least a million more new buyers into the pool that you have to fight with.
Yes, sir. And that's exactly what I was telling actually a customer today, and I had a car deal went down today, and he just kept saying, "What's the interest price? What's the interest rate? What's the interest rate?" That was all he cared about. And I told him the exact same thing. When you got the high interest rates, you got the best price on the vehicle. When the interest rates go down, the price of the vehicle goes up, and it's best to get the best price on the vehicle because you're not married to the interest rate. You can always refinance. I just told the guy that
Yeah.
today, and that's facts. And like you said, man, that rent only goes up. I don't. Let's see that first apartment that me and Fat Mac had that I spoke about earlier. That
Hmm.
was in 2005. It's $475 for a two
A month.
bedroom. $475 a month for a two
Ooh.
Well, the
bedroom,
people
one
would
bath.
kill for that right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now the last rent I was paying, it was in
That's
Grand
like
Reserve.
triple that, bro.
Yeah, like Grand Reserve, I was paying no. Yeah, Grand Reserve, I was paying 16 something, and and if I were to renew it, it would have went to 2,000 something.
Well,
My
you was
mortgage
over there with
is
them rich folk.
yeah. Man, I was staying at Canterbury.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
had
was.
a yeah. I like to have my family in a nice situation,
Yeah,
but my mortgage is
when I
like
grow up, I want to
1,200.
be just like you, Josh.
No, man, you already hey man, I know your taste now. I remember the box Chevy. I remember the pilot on what 24s. I remember all that now.
Man, that was so much money I blew. And what was crazy, you talk about that and talk about Cheney Brothers, is like, um I wish I knew about real estate back then. And so that's one thing. Anybody that reaches out to me, asks me about real estate, should they get into real estate? I tell them yes. Now, I mean, if they're serious about it, and I'm willing to help anybody, but you got to show me that you're serious about it. But like I was saying, if I knew about real estate when we was working at Cheney Brothers, bro, I know I'd be a certified multi-millionaire, because I would have been buying lots out here in Marion Oaks when they were $1,500, $2,500, because they're going for anywhere between, like, a decent lot's gonna cost you 25,000. They going up to all the way to like 40 or $50,000 for a lot out here, which is crazy. And
Jeez, man.
I was the money I was making back then, man. I could have bought me a one lot every month at least.
Yeah, because I remember them days, man. When bro, one check would cover your whole month. and the next check would just be man, we were if you worked at Cheney Brothers back then, you had status in Ocala.
Yeah. Man, I was getting them income tax checks. Every 2 weeks, past income tax checks.
Every 2 weeks. Yeah. Pretty much. And it was and like he said, back in 06, 07, 08,
Eating good.
I mean, and that's back in my gambling days. That's back when I would go blow a few $1,000s at a casino or at the poker table and didn't care. Lose $2,000 in a night and wouldn't care because we was making it like that. We was making it like that, and you know, and I did 17 years selecting, man, and I see the young cats come through, and I give them game. I say, man, put yourself on a 5-year plan. Don't spend all your money. Don't go buy a whole bunch of stuff. Don't go get a girlfriend. Don't go make babies. Put yourself on a 5-year plan. Save your money and get out. Because the money we was making, it captures you. You base your lifestyle on it.
Yeah.
And when people would
Yeah.
leave Cheney Brothers or would get fired, however they left Cheney, I would be happy for them because I knew they had a better life ahead of them, man.
Bruh, what you talking about making? I was working at the Department of Corrections. I was getting, and we ain't talking about 04, 05. Negro, we talking about 2018. Every 2 weeks, I probably got 11 to 13 before tax. So it's
Bro,
like,
I
man,
cried. I cried back
every 2 weeks, I'm talking about, bro, I go to spend like $900 every 2 weeks. Yeah, man. And that's, man, the tenacity, it ain't, it's, you can't, like, that's it. They had overtime, sure, but not every facility. If your facility ain't have OT, you just ain't have OT. I mean, you can't do nothing about that. But the tenacity that was needed for me to succeed in the field that I'm in now, it was, the starving that I did back then that kind of made me like, yeah, nah, I'm not going back to that. Likewise, Yahweh, he pushed me out the door, and I kind of feel like, that may also be the same concerning from what I was hearing with Nicholas, you know, a series of events, to where you were like, man, I'm uncomfortable. It's like Abraham. I'm uncomfortable, but I'm gonna keep going, God. I'm gonna keep moving. I don't know what you got for me, but you told me that you would take care of me.
That's
I don't
right.
know what that looks like, but we gonna find out. And man, I got pushed out that door the same way, man. Them people let me go. They told me straight up and down when I was in Department of Corrections. They said, look, you they said if we put the investigators on you, because I had got into a fight with an inmate. They said if we put the investigators on you, we have camera footage. You're going to lose. But they said all you got to do is grab this pen right here, sign, and say I resign my position as of today. And I got pushed out there. And when I got pushed out there, man, I just ran and got my CDL. You know.
Amen. So I know who I need to ask for a loan in, because I know them truck drivers making bank. Because my nephew a truck driver now.
Hey, check this out, man. I'm gonna come see you about a house. I ain't gonna put it on my wife. I ain't gonna put it on God. Peacock.
Hey,
You
listen.
put it on God, so you
Hey,
take.
Pastor, you ain't got to come see me. I come see you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and
I'm
with
gonna definitely be looking to get me one.
yeah, and
Go ahead, Peacock.
with the sales, our previous job history makes when you come into this type of work, it's easy. When you like you said, we have the purpose. When you have a history of actually working.
Mm-hmm.
When you come over and you see people complain about the smallest things, do you see that in real estate? People complaining about the smallest things, such as making calls or driving the distance or doing something and making money. Do you see that?
Yeah, it's a lot of people that complain, but see that's this is just me. I can't, like you said, yes, it's people complain, but I live my life. No, I mean, I don't stress about things that I can't control, because if you stress about things that you can't control, you won't be able to enjoy life. So why stress about them? Now, I mean, I'm gonna pray
Facts.
about it and keep it pushing. That's
Right.
it. I know this is kind of off subject, but I know what kind of to reference what Pastor was saying as far as like switching and everything. But I know, like me, from personally for me, one of the best things that I enjoy now that I'm my own boss and I'm in sales and I'm an entrepreneur is, for years, I worked third shift. So just be even when I was at Carter, I was a third shift. So just being able to come home and sleep in the bed every night and snuggle up to my wife is a blessing, because I for years I sacrificed for years. That's a blessing. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, people complain left and right. It's like, what are you complaining about? And then I mean, can you do something about it? Do. Now I mean, that's the thing. It kind of goes back to people see the glory, but they don't know the story. I know a lot of people, and I just know, like, thinking how people think. They be like, cause of my accent. Oh hell, if Nick can sell houses, I can sell houses. They see the person who I was. Oh, if Nick can sell houses, I can sell houses. This is not for everybody. Know what I mean? It's like, some nights, man, I'm up to 10, 11 o'clock, even later, writing contracts or talking to clients. And it's just not about selling houses, man. I'm like a physical what's the word I'm looking for?
A therapist, yeah.
Yeah,
You got, yeah.
I'm a therapist to some of my clients, man. I had one client, I got a house under contract, and she's telling me her whole life about how her son's hooked on drugs and everything else, and I'm talking to her about that and telling her I got a buddy that, now I mean, he's a chaplain and everything else, and he can help. Like, I'm going above and beyond the Call of Duty, man. I did as far as, I'm like part-time babysitter too, when they go look at houses and the baby's right there, you know what I mean? So I do it all, man. Even I tell all my clients, like, if I sell you a house, or if I sell your house, we're family. If you ever need anything, and if I'm available, I'll come over. I've done went over, you know what I mean, unclogged pipes for clients. I've put up blinds, installed TVs. You know what I mean?
Boy,
If
that's
if I got
crazy.
time and it means, I'll do it, because at the end of the day, I don't want to have no bad publicity about me, and I'm gonna always go above me on a Call of Duty. And I got a saying, I came up with. And ET, man, if you ever see this, man, hit me up. I got a shirt for you, because he kind of he gave me the idea. So, all ET always talks about 120, give 120. So I got T-shirts, and y'all fellas, I mean, we had to link up. Josh, I had to come up there and give you some business cards up to Honda. I'm giving you a shirt, the pastor, because you probably see him before I would. Well, but on the front it says, "I don't want to be good. I don't want to be great. I want to be legendary." And then on the back, it says 100% equals good, 110% equals great, 120% equals legendary. And it's just going above, know what I mean, like going above anybody else, and
Yes.
making sure you're leaving a legacy, not only for yourself, but for anybody that you come across. Then showing them that, hey, if you could do it, they can do it.
Right, right.
That's
You have
facts,
to,
man.
in sales, man, you have to be a professional problem solver.
So yeah.
Yeah, you solve problems all day, every day, and you have to figure out um, how to get the person from this point to this point to this point to this point to this point. And it does not. And there's a guy at my one of the top salesmen. He's been doing it for probably 2 decades.
But
He
not for
says,
long. He won't be taught for long.
"Oh no, not for long. I'm
You got to speak that into existence.
yes, sir." But he says the show doesn't start until after the sale.
Hmm.
So it's not the 4 hours that you're spending with them throughout the day. The 4 to 6 hours that you're spending with them. It's after they leave in that vehicle. That's when the sale actually starts, because them folks might have some. They have to come back. They might have to get some service done. They have to anything that they need to have done. They coming to see you, and they should be able to come see you, and you figure it out. And I understand exactly what you mean. You have to, you become you spend as much time with a person, you essentially become their family, like Nick was saying, because you're spending in Nick's case be months with people. You know what I mean?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, you can spend months. My realtor asked him, I like, how long have you ever showed a house to a person before they bought? He's like, man, I showed people a house over a year and they still didn't buy.
Hey, it was crazy you said that for a year. I had a client, shout out to Miss Ross. She used to be my wife's boss, but she's a hell of a mentor. And have she's a phenomenal lady, should I say that, to me and my wife. But it took me 4 years to convince that lady to buy a house. I finally got her to buy a house. But see, like I said in the beginning, I don't give up. Now, me giving
Right.
up is not in my blood. You can tell me no until you blue in the face. But listen, I give you mouth to mouth and bring it back, and we finna go buy a house.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's how we speak about all the time, man.
Ah,
Failure, if you never give up, you can never fail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's facts.
we
That's
speak that
facts,
all the
man.
time.
Given that 120%, man, I got a question for you. So, was there any point like I'll probably say like because you said you didn't sell a house in until like after the first what is it 11 months. So within that time, was there any time where you were like, man, is this really it? And you kind of had to push yourself and motivate yourself, like, nah, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep pushing through. I'm gonna keep being tenacious and persistent.
Yeah, I just knew once I kind of broke through and had that first sale, it was game over, and then it was just I was putting in the work, laying my foundation before I even sold my first house, even though it took 11 months because it could be people that say they may sell a house within the first couple months, but now I mean sometimes I guess you could say it's the luck of the draw, but I was doing and I was marketing myself the whole time. So then once I did have that first sale, and then it was just game over. But to what you were saying, as far as did I think about giving up? Not at all, because I knew, like I set a goal for I actually I'm not gonna say a goal. I set a mission. Okay, because I knew once I was able to complete that mission, everything else was gonna fall into place, and I knew I had to keep going because, like you said, if I give up now, you give up on anything, just like Jordan say.
Man, that's dope. My bad, Peacock. You was
No,
gonna
go
say
ahead, go
something?
ahead, go ahead.
Okay, nah, I just, I don't know. I had to hear that because, man, a lot of times I'm certain that, especially when it comes to like jobs like sales and aesthetics, sometimes people, they get a little weary or whatever the case may be. But I got another question. So, when it comes to in the beginning you selling houses, people don't do they like reach out to you, or are you under like the broker, or you under the company or whatever the case may be, so you have a certain amount of people that you frequent or you interact with?
Yeah.
Like, how is it in the beginning?
So I'm not gonna give all my gems of how I get my clients, but I tell you this. So all brokerages have like lead systems. You know what I mean? That you can they use to get leads. Um,
Mhm.
but me personally, knock on wood, and I thank the Lord for this. I've never paid for one lead. Now, I mean, everything was
Wow.
self generated. And also referrals, word of mouth is everything, and the greatest compliment is a referral. And Josh can attest to that. I have a client, and every birthday for him and his wife, I always make sure I send them something or give them something because I probably done 7 8 transactions off of them, and then sold probably half the family houses.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Man,
So,
that's wild.
Nick, did you buy your own personal house before you got into real estate or after?
Actually, I bought my first house because, no, I mean, thank you, Lord, I got two houses. So I kind of tell you how that happened and how I kind of came up with how I paid my house off. So I bought my first house in 2011 when the market was still down because I've always been, I'm not gonna keep paying for something I'm not gonna own. So the wifey, she got everything approved, got me approved and stuff. So I got the house. It's a 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 car garage, 1,800 square feet house, cathedral ceiling, and I pay $80,000 for it. Now this house right now is worth at least $300,000. Some people like, dang, that's crazy. So fast forward to me being in real estate, and then the wife was like, well, I want to build a house or whatever. I want to build my own house. I'm like, all right, cool. So like I was telling you, the when I first got into real estate, I didn't spend none of my money. I was doing investments and just stacking my bread. Um, and then my wife was able to get me approved to get a construction loan for to get a new home built. So I bought some land from my aunt, and then we used that land to as a in the equity from the land as towards a down payment for the house. But then also I had closing costs and stuff like that. And part of the agreement was once your house gets done, you have to sell your house that you stay in now, meaning my house in Marion Oaks. So I'm like, all right. But then when it got close, I was thinking about it. It was like I never find another house this size for $80,000 livable. I got granite countertops, everything. I think Josh, you've been over here before, right? If I know it.
No, I've never been over to your
Well, oh man. Well, that's probably because you ain't get me to be your relative. I just had to throw that in there.
I'll take it.
But
Hey, I'll take it.
in the midst of the our new home getting done, um, I lost my job at Cardinal, and then I had went to Invest Fest in 2022, and I just learned really about 401k. Nothing. Some people look at it differently, but no, I mean, is it good to have a 401k? Yes, but then at the same time, you're still letting the next man control your money. So when I
Yeah,
started working at
it's in the
Cardinal,
market.
yeah, when I started working at Cardinal, I knew they was gonna make me sell my house in Marion Oaks, and I was like, I'd be a fool to sell it because I never found a house this size and in this condition for $80,000. And the house was built in 2007. It sold for $248,000. I bought it for $80,000 in 2011. Okay, and like I said, it's worth every bit of $300,000 now. So what I did, I cashed out my 401k, took the hit, took money from my from real estate, put it together, and paid my house off. So then when we closed on our new home, the lady was like, "Do you have your house on the market?" I said, "No. Why would I have it on the market? It's paid off." Oh, I didn't know that. Checkmate. You see what I'm saying? You're not gonna tell me what to do with my house and try to tell me I got to sell my house. I'd be a fool to sell my house. So now, fast forward, we've been staying at like both places, but I'm gonna end up renting this out.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man. And you have to be strategic, man, in this thing, man. And that's the ultimate strategy right there, man, to be able to because like you said, that 401k, man, like we had some a couple of gentlemen on a couple of times and they did life insurance and they was telling us about a conglomerate of pastors who had 120 million in 401k and they lost 90 million of it that
Hmm.
they'll never
Oh
see.
yeah, the AME church, I think.
Yeah, and I'll never forget that story. I'll always, remember that story. And that you take the hit to do something, and that hit that you took is not even comparison to the gain that you got from paying off your house and having $220,000 worth of equity into your house. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't beat it. One thing that I find a lot of motivation in sales is you see people on both ends of the spectrum. You see people at the lowest of the low who can barely buy, who can't afford a
Hmm.
piece of gum if it was financed. And then you see people who have the top echelon credit, have a ton of money in the bank that they have so much money in the bank they don't know what to do with it. I get to deliver cars to people's houses, see their house, see their neighborhood, see. I mean, it's the motivation on both ends. When you're showing people houses and you're seeing their financial statements and just seeing their history financially and so on and so forth, how much motivation does that give you?
You talking to me or pastor?
I'm talking to you because yeah.
Oh, nah. It I'm saying it motivates me either way. Depend no matter what level they're on, as far as like if they're buying a $200,000 house or if they're buying a $600,000 or $700,000 house, because at the end of the day, and actually I give this to Wade, shout out to Wade. No matter how, I remember Wade telling me one time, no matter how high you get up in the company, this was when we was working at Cardinal, always remember where you come from. So and that stuck with me. So it's just in the same sense as in life, you know what I mean? It's like some people will start making money and let that money get to their head, but you know what I mean? I'm one mistake away of um one misstep away from being where I was, you know what I mean? So that's where it kind of comes into about financial literacy and all that stuff as far as protecting yourself. But I treat all my clients the same. I know what I mean. I don't to me what you have or what you will have doesn't make or break the person. I
Right,
want to get to know the person. So that's why, like I tell all my clients, I'm not selling you. I'm just not selling you a house. I'm telling you a lifetime friendship because we're family.
right, yeah. Now that you look at the person differently, it's just that you see all situations and you use like you see a person who's on the a come up and it motivates you to continue to stay on the up and up. And then you
Hmm.
see people that are doing well, very well for themselves, and it motivates you to you seeing what is attainable and even the greater. You know what I mean? Like I said, I treat I give 5-star treatment whether you buying the cheap car out there that's a cash car or whether you buying the most expensive thing on the lot. You know what I mean? You get the same, and that's what sales is. It's just building a relationship, and people will buy from you just because it's you, and
Hmm.
they will refuse to work with anybody else because you built that trust, you built that relationship with them, and so you have to sell yourself actually more than you do the product.
Yeah, absolutely. I can kind of contribute some of that. Tell you, you talking about sales because you know I worked at Foot Locker for like 6.5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to my manager Michelle Parker who gave me a chance. Um, but and that I really I that's where my salesmanship started, and like really treating people and not judging the book by its cover, because you never know, like, and you can kind of attest to this, Josh. Like some people may be looking like a hobo in a sense. That's what some people may look at them like, but then they have all the money in the world. They just a lot of materialistic things. They don't do nothing for them. I mean, people. Some people are different in different ways. um, but I remember when I was working at Foot Locker, the VP of the East Coast for Foot Locker came in, and I was helping like two or three people, and he had I asked him, when he walked down, I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He was like, "I'm doing good." And I said, "Well, you looking for anything in particular?" And he was like, "No." I said, "What size shoe you wear?" I just remembered it. So anyway, I'm helping two or three people. Actually, I think I was ringing something up, and he put the shoe up like this. And I already knew that was the last shoe. I said, "That's the last shoe, size 8." And just he was intrigued how I greeted everybody who came in and was multitasking and still remembered what he had said to me. And I didn't know who this guy was. Next thing I know, I found out he was the East Coast Vice VP of Operations. If I'm the title may be incorrect, and I forgot his name exactly because it's been years since I worked at Foot Locker. But I remember getting a sneaker award for that, and then my manager at the time, because I always stayed part time, he told me he had been there for probably like 10 years and had never got that.
Oh, that's dope.
So it's all, you know what I mean, it's all
Mhm.
about treating everybody. the same way with the utmost respect. And I mean, it's kind of like we all men of God. It's all about treat others how you want them to be, how you want them to treat you. And even if they treat you, know what I mean, wrong or bad, it's kind of like I'm still gonna shine. Know what I mean, I'm just gonna use that for motivation. And I know, like y'all taught me, y'all stop me if y'all want, cause I could talk for days.
No, you
But like
good.
anytime it's talking about like failure and hardship and everything else, but it's like whenever things don't go your way or somebody's hating on you, man, take that negative and turn it into a positive. Take that and put it into your gas tank and use that for fuel so you can be successful. Cause like I had mentioned earlier about my failures are my motivation, and I'd rather fail. I know what I mean. I'd rather fail at something and say I tried to do it versus not try at all, and then later on in life regret not
Right,
trying it.
right, right,
Right.
right.
That's fact.
And um, man, when I get people in front of me, and most salesmen ain't gonna do this, but when I get people in front of me who's in a position not to be able to purchase, I'll sit an extra 10 minutes and I'll break down steps that they can take so they will be able to purchase in the near future if they just follow those
Hmm.
steps. I've had people in front of me, they couldn't get approved. I told them how to get approved. They've gotten approved and then went somewhere else and bought. And it didn't bother me. I'm just happy
Hmm.
that they were able. And most people will get mad. Oh man, I taught them how to do it. I got them. I showed them how to get approved. And they still ain't coming. No man, I'm just happy that they was able to get approved and go somewhere else and find them a car. I'll sit an extra 10 to 15 minutes, even after management or somebody say, oh, they can't do nothing. Just show them out. I'll sit at the desk with them an extra 10, 15 minutes and break down different steps of how to get their credit up, how to go about, getting pre-approval through a credit union or whatever. And they don't have the slightest of no. They just come in wanting to buy a car, and most people, well, they call it brooming them, just pushing them out the door because now you wasting my time. You can't buy, get out, get
Hmm.
out. So I'll sit an extra 10 to 15 minutes and break that down, man. And people will appreciate that. And if you don't make a sale today, you might set it up to make a sale 6 months down the road, a year down the road. You never know. How you treat people, man, goes a long ways. And like Nick
Yeah,
was
you
saying,
plant that seed.
like you were saying, it may not be today, but eventually it may not even be you, but you might tell somebody, hey man, Peacock down there, Nick down there, man, he gonna take care of you. He gonna look out for you. And that's what it's all about, man.
And it's just kind of like I feel like, and Pastor, you probably the same way. In life, you'll be successful as long as you can be relatable. So, know what I mean, people like with I know with me and Josh being in sales, people if they feel like they can talk to you and they feel like they can relate to you, they will use you. Know what I mean, versus people that they feel like they can't relate to them, they're not gonna use them.
Right.
And if they're not approachable, you got to make sure you know what I mean you're approachable.
Most definitely.
That's facts. I think in the sales world they call that building rapport.
Yes.
Hmm.
When you build rapport with that person, you can relate with them. They will be more apt to open up with you, and that does translate, or it carries over into ministry also. You want to
And
mhm. you want to
no,
be
go ahead.
okay, cool. You want to just be able to make yourself accessible and available. Relatable. So that that person will open up to you, and it's that's probably why a lot of times I'm sure when you're selling houses it becomes more than just, okay, this person is trying to sell me a house. They kind of open up a little more to you. Well, my son, like you said, the lady was talking about her son, or her was it her child going through the drug issue, or the addiction issue, or whatever the
Hmm.
case may be. It's easier to do that, when you make yourself relatable, and you kind of show a certain level of transparency. I believe that is like that's part of being human. That's like a part of our life. Like, you know what I'm saying? God, He created it and He meant it to be that way.
Yes, sir.
I know, like what Josh was saying, talking about taking the extra 10 to 15 minutes to talk to the clients to point them in the right direction. That kind of comes back to what I had mentioned about earlier. And another shout out to Earn Your Leisure as far as financial literacy. A lot of people don't know what to do as far as credit, or how to build credit, or how to get a credit card, or none of that, because they don't teach you that, which they need to start teaching that in schools. And like a lot, even like when people, I've had people call me and they talk to me, and I mean, one of the first kind of questions you're gonna ask them is, what's the credit score? And I've had people call me and tell me like their credit score is like four something, okay, which is low. But then at the same time, I'm give you tips and tidbits that I've learned since I've been in real estate, and also really I've it kind of goes back to my backbone, my wife, things that I've learned from her, because she has me on over an 800 credit score. And I mean that's to her, and that at the end of the day, when it comes down to credit, use it to your advantage. Don't misuse it, because a lot of people use credit try to keep up with the Joneses, and
Yeah.
you would always fail. You'll always go broke. Um, but if anybody, if you can, I'm gonna tell you this: you shouldn't use your debit card for nothing. You should use your credit for a credit card, or credit cards for everything, in a sense, if you can. Or just like say one credit card. Use one credit card as your debit card, because you put your money in the bank, and they giving you 0.00% interest on your money. Okay, then say for instance, but you go here, you go there, you buy this, you buy that, you and the wife go on a trip, okay, you use your debit card to pay for it, you're not receiving anything. At least with a credit card, you're receiving cash back,
Correct.
reward points and everything. Then you can turn around and use those reward points to go on trips and everything else. And then at the same time, you're using credit utilization, so you're constantly using your credit, and you're constantly building your credit. And then like another thing, you never really want to go over 30% of the credit card limit. In actuality, you want to try to keep it on 10% or less. And you always kind of want to carry a balance over to the next month, because, and this is just how they tell, oh, you want to pay your credit cards off. No, you don't want to pay your credit cards off. The average American should have two or three credit cards, and this is facts. Okay, and just keep a small balance on all of them. And then people, oh, you get hit with interest. But say for instance, say your credit card is, you got a credit card for $1,000. No, I mean the interest on $100 is minor. But then at the same time, constantly use it, constantly pay it down, or pay it off. And then another thing, a lot of people don't realize that if you pay your balance off before the billing cycle's up,
Yeah,
you
that's
don't get
right.
charged with interest. You see
Um,
what I'm saying? So it's a lot of credit tips out there that a lot of people don't know. But like Josh was saying, as far as taking the extra 10 to 15 minutes, it's like they may not be ready now, but now I mean in the future we're gonna get you ready. Until what Josh was saying, I've spent hours of talking to people on the phone and everything else, and the next thing I know, I see they close on the house or whatever, and they didn't use me. That's fine, but now I mean at least I did what I felt God put in my heart to do for them, and plant that seed and help them, point them in the right direction. And I love that post, and congratulations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, we could talk for forever, man. Nick, man, we appreciate you. We gonna give you any final words, any whatever you want to say, man. Any shout outs, anything, man. Go ahead and let them know, and let them know what
Well,
y'all your contact information that you want them to have.
all right. So I already, you know what I mean, gave a shout out. Really, I would say my my top three, actually I can't say, yeah, my top three motivational speakers, because I love listening to them, is E.T. Inky Johnson and Jeremy Anderson. um but I want to ask everybody this, because actually I kind of came up with this saying when I was driving to Atlanta to do some stuff. I was listening to Inky Johnson and ET on a podcast, you know what I mean, talking about fear. You know what I mean, everybody always fear a lot of things. Like they like, oh, I fear this would happen, but you never hear nobody say I had faith this would happen. Okay, but then at the same time, they're both invisible. They both start with an F. But the biggest difference, and remember this, when you say you fear something, but you don't have faith in something, they're both invisible, but the biggest difference is fear can destroy your dreams and faith can make your dreams come true. So if I had anything last word to say, it would be that my contact information is 352-209-4414, and my email address is realestategeek352 at gmail.com. And Josh, man, I'm coming through and come up there and see you, man. I felt bad the one night I had to reschedule with you, man.
Oh man, it's all good, man. We understand things happen, things come up. You know, if it was one thing, if you just ghosted me and ain't ever say that, that's one thing. You know, I mean, I probably would have never spoke to you about the podcast ever again. But I still would have spoke to you, but I wouldn't have asked you about the podcast. But you communicated with me, man. I appreciate you communicating with me. I appreciate you moving up a day to accommodate us, man. I see you doing your thing, man. But I get to all that stuff. But yeah. Thank you for just communicating with me, man. I understand things happen. DJ, what's up?
Yeah, man, it was nice having you too, bro. Definitely. Y'all can find me at Daryl DJ Sales. It's Barylle. DJ Sales SALES, like salesman. Like these two gentlemen here. You can find me on that on all platforms. That's Facebook. That's Instagram. I'm currently taking a hiatus from what's it called, Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
I'm not watching I'm not listening to any debates. I'm taking a hiatus. The Most High got me on a little fast, man. I'm studying. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Yes, Sirski, man. Again, Nick, appreciate you, bro. I really do appreciate you, man, for taking the time.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
hey, hey, anytime, man. To all the viewers, man, y'all keep our head up, never give up. You know what I mean? Because if you give up now, it'll become a habit, and that's a bad habit to have. Put all your faith in God. Stay on Faith Street, because you mess around and get over here on Mayhappen Avenue. When God sends that blessing to you, you're going to miss it.
Yes, sir. Like I said, appreciate you for your time, man, for all of the motivation that you've put out on the podcast, man, and the gems that you've dropped. Me personally, I finally got my building, man. This Sunday, man. Be having my first service in the building. I'm so blessed and excited for what God is doing with my ministry, man. Wrapped in the Word Ministries. Um, for the podcast, man, Facebook, Instagram, Degrees of Separation on everything. DEGREEZ. Degrees of Separation. Separation is one of those misspelled words, man. SEPARATION. Degrees of Separation on Facebook and Instagram. Degrees of Separation on YouTube. All one word. Again, DEGREEZ. Um, Man, we appreciate our guests on the night, man. But we may be 1 or 2 degrees separated from each other, but when it comes to God, there should be 0 degrees of separation. And we out.
Degrees of separation connecting to the source.